Good morning. Yesterday I sent out a video telling you all the steps that we would take to make sure that when you came to church that you would feel safe, and we would try to make it as germ-free and sanitized as possible. I also said in another spot that if anything were to change, I would let you know. And so here I am. After consulting with numerous leaders in the church and getting as much balanced and solid information as possible, listening to what the CDC is saying, listening to what other health officials are saying, and looking at the measures that the schools and other churches in the area feel the need to take, I want to come to you and let you know of what we are going to be doing. So on Sunday mornings, normally we have Sunday school, we have worship, and then this coming Sunday we will have a members meeting and a deacons meeting. So what I want to let you know is that we will not be having Sunday school, and while we will be having service, it will be online only. We will still be having the same service. We're just not going to open it to all of us to be able to gather together personally. We're just going to be in too close quarters to be able to do that. And we do have a members meeting that we need to look at and to vote on some things, but we're going to get right to the motions and maybe have everybody spread out. But if we have a quorum, then we'll take care of the business, and then we'll go to our homes, and then we won't be having any deacons meetings. So I feel like I owe you an explanation on this. The Great Commission is twofold. We love God with all that we have, our heart, our soul, our strength. But the second commandment of that Great Commandment is this, or I guess you could say it's 1B, is to love our neighbor as ourselves. And so that's the heartbeat of who we are as an ARBC family and as Christians, is that we're to love our neighbor as ourselves. One of the lessons that I've been learning over the last few days has been evaluating this virus is that we can be moving forward full of faith. And in fact, this has helped actually increase my faith, because I'm realizing now that my hope doesn't lie in anything that this world has to offer. It can be taken away very, very quickly. But it's actually reaffirmed that Jesus is enough. And when we go, we recognize that we can go in full faith, and we can go without fear. But that doesn't mean that we're reckless. There's going to be a season here where it's going to be this Sunday and possibly next, where we will do things just online, but we will still work to try to engage all of us as a family at ARBC in other ways aside from this time where we would be getting together. Our governor has been doing a really good job of keeping us up to date with all that's transpiring with the virus. Schools, churches closing around us for 2, in some cases 3 weeks. But given the nature of the virus, we can be actually carriers of the virus for 14 days before any symptoms begin to show up. And also that this virus can actually live on surfaces for up to 3 days. So the goal of this is to try to keep the spreading of it at bay. And we know that the elderly, the sick, the immunocompromised, we know that they're more at risk with this virus. And the demographics of our church are such to where we could be putting a number of our elderly and our sick and our immunocompromised at risk. And I can't have that on my conscience. And so we're going to take the route of caution and prevention. But we do this in full faith that God has called us to love each other and to love our neighbor. And so for this season, that will mean a physical and a geographical distancing, just for this season. But we got to make sure that's a way we may be able to love our neighbors, is to be distancing ourselves and not be ones who are providing that risk. But here's the thing. As a church, we're always spiritually close. We are never spiritually distant from each other. And we have to make sure that through text, through notes, through phone calls, through various ways, that we are still keeping up with each other and finding ways that we can help each other. And this may give us an opportunity with all of the school events, the athletics, the arts events that have been canceled. This is going to give you an opportunity to be able to connect with your kids, to be able to connect with your grandkids, to be able to connect with your neighbors in a way where all of those distractions are now opening things up wide open for you. And listen, while this may be a pandemic crisis, this is also an opportunity to show the world that Jesus is enough for us. We don't have to walk around wringing our hands. We know that this did not catch God by surprise. We know that he is still on his throne, and maybe, just maybe, he's using this to get our attention, to show us that maybe some of the things around us that we're pouring so much into, it's not about that. It's about taking care of ourselves and taking care of our relationship with God, and about loving our neighbor as ourselves. So again, we may have 2-3 Sundays in a row where it's going to be like this. We're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to listen to the CDC. We're going to make sure that we are on top of this. But our goal is to make sure that we are taking care of you and taking care of those that are around us, but also still proclaiming the word and encouraging each other in songs and in prayer and in all of these different ways. So just because we won't be meeting does not mean that we can't be together. So I encourage you at 10:31 to log on to facebook.com/Arapahoe Road, and then you'll be able to see where the videos are. Now, if you know how to do that, what I would ask you to do is, when you see that we're coming up, we usually come up about 10:25, and it'll show up in your notifications if you're on Facebook. What you can do is you can click on that, and you can say, would you like a watch party? So you can either do that, or what you can do is share it to your page, and then encourage other people to join in. We don't want the word to stop, but what we do want to make sure is that you don't stop either, that you keep progressing. And so as a result, we're still going to get the word out. But while we may not be together physically, we can be together spiritually, and we can be together online. Let's find ways that we can help each other in the meantime. Hey, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. But again, a decision had to be made, and this is the decision that we're making. And we love each and every one of you. Let us know of ways we can help. God bless you. Thank you.